Have you ever felt trapped in your own mind, overthinking every word you've said, replaying conversations, and wondering if someone is upset with you? Or maybe you've been held back by the fear of failure, afraid that even one misstep might derail your dreams entirely. And when loneliness creeps in, instead of reaching out, you retreat, thinking it's easier to handle everything on your own. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. I've been there too. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to stay this way. You can break free from these patterns and start living a life filled with peace, confidence, and connection. Welcome to Wise Valley, the place where we tackle the obstacles holding you back and help you unlock your full potential. If you're ready to change your life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join a community that's here to grow with you. Now let's dive into 3 life-changing lessons that have transformed my life, and could transform yours too. Let's start with overthinking. It's like an endless loop in your mind, analyzing every interaction, every facial expression, and trying to guess what others are feeling. It's exhausting. Why do we overthink? Overthinking often stems from insecurity and a need for control. Maybe you grew up in an environment where you had to anticipate other people's emotions to feel safe, or perhaps you've experienced criticism that made you hyper-aware of how you come across to others. Overthinking is your brain's way of trying to protect you from future hurt. But here's the kicker. It doesn't work. Instead of solving problems, overthinking creates them. It isolates you from others and eats away at your confidence. The solution? Stop guessing. Start communicating. Here's a simple yet powerful truth. If someone hasn't told you they're upset, it's not your responsibility to read their mind. Instead, ask. Practical steps. 1. Pause and reflect. Before jumping to conclusions, ask yourself, do I have actual evidence that this person is upset? 2. Open the conversation. If you're unsure, approach the person with curiosity, not defensiveness. Try saying, hey, I've been feeling like something's off between us. Is everything okay? 3. Accept their response. If they say nothing is wrong, take them at their word and move on. Real-life example. I used to replay conversations for hours, worried I'd offended someone. But once I started asking directly, I realized most of the time people weren't upset. They were just distracted or stressed about something unrelated. Communicating saved me hours of unnecessary worry. Now let's talk about fear of failure. This one held me back for years. I used to think, if I can't do it perfectly, why even try? Sound familiar? Why does fear of failure paralyze us? At its core, fear of failure often comes from perfectionism and a fear of judgment. Maybe you've been conditioned to believe that mistakes define your worth. Or maybe you compare yourself to others and feel like you'll never measure up. Here's the thing, failure isn't the end. It's the beginning of growth. Every successful person you admire has failed, probably more times than you can imagine. The solution? Redefine failure and take small steps forward. Practical steps. 1. Shift your perspective. Instead of seeing failure as a setback, view it as a stepping stone. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? 2. Start small. Break your goals into tiny, manageable steps. Each small win builds confidence and momentum. 3. Reward effort, not just outcomes. Celebrate the fact that you tried, regardless of the result. Real-life example. I used to avoid starting new projects because I was terrified they wouldn't succeed. But when I let go of the all-or-nothing mindset and focused on making progress, not being perfect, I felt lighter. And guess what? I accomplished more. Recommended tool. Try using a habit tracker like Habitica or Streaks to reward yourself for consistent effort. Finally, let's address loneliness. When life gets overwhelming, it's tempting to isolate yourself. You tell yourself you'll feel better if you stay home, avoid people, and just deal with it alone. But the truth? Isolation only deepens the void. Why do we isolate ourselves? For many of us, loneliness becomes a self-protective habit. Maybe you've been hurt in the past and fear rejection, or maybe you feel like no one truly understands you. Whatever the reason, cutting yourself off from others feels safer, but it's also incredibly damaging. The solution? Reach out, even when it feels uncomfortable. Practical steps. 1. Start small. If big social gatherings feel overwhelming, start with a one-on-one coffee chat or a phone call with someone you trust. 2. Be honest about your feelings. Let people know when you're struggling. Vulnerability creates deeper connections. 3. Join communities. Whether it's a local club, a hobby group, or even an online forum, connecting with like-minded people can break the cycle of isolation. Real-life example. I used to spend entire weekends alone, thinking it was the only way to recharge. But over time I realized that spending even a few hours with friends boosted my mood and gave me the energy to tackle the week ahead. Recommended strategy: schedule one social activity per week, even if it's just a quick coffee with a friend. These 3 lessons, letting go of overthinking, overcoming the fear of failure, and embracing connection, have completely changed the way I approach life. And they can do the same for you. But here's the key: none of this works unless you take action. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but every small step you take brings you closer to the life you want. So, I challenge you, what's one step you can take today to break free from overthinking, fear, or loneliness? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Wise Valley for more life-changing insights. And remember, the journey to self-improvement isn't about being perfect, it's about making progress one step at a time. Uplifting music fades in, visuals of sunrise or someone smiling while journaling, the Wise Valley logo appears on the screen.